Pittsburgh sits in southwestern Pennsylvania, wrapped around the point where the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers join to form the Ohio, a dramatic setting that shapes almost everything about how the city feels. The city proper holds about 300,000 people, but the wider metropolitan area is home to roughly 2.5 million. That makes Pittsburgh the second largest metro in Pennsylvania after Philadelphia, and the largest across the broader Ohio Valley and Appalachia. It sits at around 1,200 feet of elevation, folded into steep hills and river valleys that break the city into distinct pockets. Those hills matter. Neighborhoods that look close together on a map can be separated by a ridge, a long staircase, or a river. Pittsburgh is also called the City of Bridges, and with good reason, carrying more than 400 of them across its rivers and ravines. The city built its name on steel, but that era ended decades ago, and Pittsburgh reinvented itself around medicine, education, and technology. Its largest employers today are health systems and universities, anchored by the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, Carnegie Mellon, and the University of Pittsburgh. Carnegie Mellon's strength in robotics and computer science has pulled in tech offices and startups, giving the old steel town a research-driven edge. This is a city for travelers who value substance over polish, with strong museums, serious food, deep sports passion, and famously friendly locals. Residents are known as Yinzers, and the reputation fits. Pittsburghers tend to be unpretentious, direct, and quick to help a visitor find their way. For its size, Pittsburgh punches well above its weight on culture, with major museums, a nationally regarded symphony, and a compact downtown theater district. The honest caveat is the weather. Pittsburgh is one of the cloudiest cities in the country, and its winters run long, gray, and cold. Most visitors find a long weekend about right, with 3 to 4 days enough to cover the museums, the food, and a ball game. Give it a full week and you can add day trips into the surrounding hills, including Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater, about 90 minutes to the southeast. Most visitors arrive through Pittsburgh International Airport, which sits about 19 miles west of downtown, roughly a 30 to 40-minute drive depending on traffic. It is a solid mid-sized hub with direct flights to most major U.S. cities and a growing slate of international routes. The cheapest way into the city is the 28X bus, which runs from the airport to downtown and the Oakland University District. That ride costs $2.75 and takes roughly 40 minutes, which is hard to beat for the price. Rideshare is the more popular choice, with an airport trip to downtown typically running somewhere in the $35 to $55 range. Taxis wait at the curb outside baggage claim and cover the same route in about 25 minutes for a similar fare. If you are driving in, Pittsburgh is an easy highway city to reach from much of the Northeast and Midwest. Cleveland is about 2 hours to the northwest, Columbus roughly 3 hours west, and Washington around 4 hours to the southeast. Philadelphia sits at the far end of the state, a 5-hour drive east across the Alleghenies, so the two cities feel worlds apart. Once you are in town, Pittsburgh Regional Transit runs the buses, the light rail, and the 2 historic hillside inclines. The light rail line, known simply as the T, is small but useful, linking downtown with the South Hills and the North Shore stadiums. A single ride is $2.75, a full day of unlimited travel runs $7, and a weekly pass is $25. A 31-day pass costs $97.50, though fares do change, so confirm current prices on the Pittsburgh Regional Transit website before you rely on them. The 2 inclines are more than a novelty. These historic funiculars climb Mount Washington and deliver the best skyline views in the city. Downtown itself is compact and walkable, and the neighboring Strip District and North Shore are easy to cover on foot. But Pittsburgh's hills are real, and some neighborhoods involve steep climbs or long public staircases that a map will never warn you about. A car is helpful, but not essential. Stay around downtown, Oakland, and the East End, and you can manage largely on transit and rideshare. If you do drive, downtown parking is pricey, with monthly garage rates among the highest in the country and daily rates that add up quickly. For crossing town at night, rideshare is widely available and usually affordable, with most in-city trips landing under $15. Pittsburgh's lodging clusters into a handful of distinct zones, each with a different trade-off between price, walkability, and what sits on your doorstep. Across the city, budget rooms generally run under $130 a night, with mid-range hotels landing between $130 and $200. Upscale properties typically sit in the $200 to $330 range, and the small number of true luxury rooms climb higher still. Downtown, known locally as the Golden Triangle, is the most central choice, walkable to the theaters, the arena, and Point State Park at the river's meeting. It carries the widest range of hotels, from the grand old Omni William Penn to boutique rooms like the Kimpton Hotel Monaco. The upside is that you can leave the car parked and walk to most of downtown. The downside is that some blocks empty out on weeknights. Across the Allegheny sits the North Shore, home to the baseball and football stadiums and two of the city's best museums. For a sports fan, staying here means walking to the ballpark, and the Riverfront Trail into downtown is one of the nicest strolls in the city. The trade-off is that the North Shore can feel quiet between events, with fewer restaurants than the busier neighborhoods across the water. Oakland is the University District, wedged between the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon, and it doubles as the city's museum core. Staying here puts the Carnegie Museums, the Cathedral of Learning, and the Phipps Conservatory within an easy walk, often at better rates than downtown. It is student-heavy and can get loud during the school year, and a few blocks look tired, but the value and location are strong. A little farther east, Shadyside and the surrounding East End offer the city's most pleasant walkable streets, lined with independent shops and restaurants. Hotel inventory here is thinner, leaning toward boutique properties and short-term rentals, but it is the best pick for a relaxed neighborhood feel. South across the Monongahela, Station Square, and the South Side put you near the inclines and the city's densest nightlife strip on East Carson Street. That makes it a lively base for going out, though the weekend bar crowds on Carson Street can run late and loud. Short-term rentals widen your options well beyond the hotels, especially in Lawrenceville and the Strip District, where hotel rooms are still scarce. The major hotel loyalty brands are well represented downtown, though genuine luxury and American Express fine hotels options in Pittsburgh remain limited. For most first-time visitors, downtown or Oakland is the safe pick, balancing walkability, transit, and proximity to the things you came to see. Couples tend to prefer Shadyside, families lean toward the North Shore for the stadiums and Science Center, and night owls pick the South Side. There are no downtown zones a visitor needs to avoid, though, as in any city, a few outlying neighborhoods are better skipped after dark. Pittsburgh rewards curiosity. Its best attractions cluster around three themes: world-class museums, dramatic river and hilltop views, and a deeply passionate sports culture. Start at Point State Park, the green wedge where the three rivers meet, marked by a huge fountain that shoots water nearly 150 feet into the air. For the postcard view, ride one of the inclines up Mount Washington, where the Grandview Avenue overlooks, take in the whole downtown skyline and its rivers. That view is regularly ranked among the most beautiful in the country, and it is worth timing for sunset when the city lights come up. The museum heart of the city is Oakland, a short ride east of downtown and home to the Carnegie institutions. The Carnegie Museum of Natural History is the anchor, famous for one of the finest dinosaur collections anywhere in the world. It shares a building with the Carnegie Museum of Art, so a single visit covers fossils and fine art in one stop, usually for around $25. Next door stands the Cathedral of Learning, a 42-story Gothic tower that is the tallest educational building in the Western Hemisphere. Inside, the nationality rooms are working classrooms decorated in the styles of different cultures, and they are open to visitors outside of class hours. A few blocks away, the Phipps Conservatory fills a Victorian glasshouse with seasonal flower shows and one of the prettier indoor gardens in any U.S. city. Back across the river on the North Shore, the Andy Warhol Museum holds the largest collection of a single artist's work in North America. Nearby, the National Aviary is the country's only independent, congressionally designated aviary, home to hundreds of birds you can often walk right among. The Carnegie Science Center sits along the same riverfront and is the city's top stop for kids, with 4 floors of interactive science and a retired submarine docked outside. For a different kind of afternoon, the Strip District is a half-mile of old produce warehouses turned into markets, ethnic grocers, and food stalls. The Strip is also home to the Heinz History Center, a Smithsonian affiliate that tells the region's story from steel to Mr. Rogers. Pittsburgh also rewards the offbeat, with free oddities like Randyland's Folk Art Courtyard and Bicycle Heaven, billed as the world's largest bike museum. Sports are not optional here. Pittsburghers are famously devoted to their black and gold teams, and catching a game is part of the experience. PNC Park, the Pirates' riverfront ballpark, is widely called the best in baseball for its skyline backdrop, and tickets are often cheap and easy to get. Steelers football at Acrisure Stadium and Penguins hockey at the downtown arena are tougher tickets, but the atmosphere is hard to match. If you need green space, Schenley and Frick Parks give you hundreds of wooded acres, trails, and overlooks within the city limits. For a museum-focused traveler, Oakland and the North Shore can fill 2 rich days. Day 1 starts in Oakland at the Carnegie Museums when they open at 10, giving 3 hours for the dinosaurs and the art wing. Break for lunch on Craig Street, then walk over to the Cathedral of Learning and the Phipps Conservatory through the afternoon. Day 2 opens on the North Shore at the Andy Warhol Museum, allowing about 2 hours before the crowds build. Cross to the National Aviary next door for an hour, then grab lunch in the Strip District and finish at the Heinz History Center. For travelers who prefer views and fresh air, Pittsburgh's hills and rivers offer an easy outdoor itinerary. Day 1 starts at Point State Park, where you walk the riverfront trail to the fountain before the midday heat sets in. By afternoon, ride the incline up to Mount Washington for a long, unhurried lunch at one of the clifftop restaurants. Spend the late day in Schenley Park with a couple of hours of wooded trails and the Panther Hollow overlook. Day 2 heads to Frick Park's trails or pushes farther out to Ohiopyle State Park for serious hiking and whitewater. For sports fans traveling with family, the North Shore packs a full day within a short walk. Day 1 begins at the Carnegie Science Center when it opens at 10, with 2 to 3 hours for the exhibits and the planetarium. By afternoon, walk to PNC Park for a Pirates game, breaking for lunch at a North Shore spot along the way. Afterward, cross the Clemente Bridge into downtown for dinner, or catch a Penguins or Steelers game if the season lines up. Beyond the city, the biggest draw is Fallingwater, Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpiece built over a waterfall about 90 minutes to the southeast. Tours sell out well ahead in peak season, so book online before you make the drive, and pair it with nearby Kentuck Knob. Closer in, Kennywood is a beloved century-old amusement park just south of the city, strong on classic wooden roller coasters. Pittsburgh's food scene is a direct reflection of its history, built on Eastern European and Italian immigrant cooking, layered under a newer, more ambitious wave. The old backbone is hearty comfort food, the kind that fed steel workers from pierogies and kielbasa to haluski and stuffed cabbage rooted in Polish and Slovak kitchens. Pierogies are practically the city mascot, so beloved that the Pirates run a costumed pierogi race at every home game. The single most iconic bite is the Primanti brothers sandwich, born in the Strip District, which piles the fries and coleslaw right inside the bread. Then there is the Pittsburgh-style steak, charred hard on the outside and left rare within, a technique said to trace back to the mills. Other local curiosities include the chipped ham sandwich, the hotel-era Devonshire, and tomato pie, a bakery-style square that is not quite pizza. For dessert, Prantle's burnt almond torte has been voted one of the best cakes in America, and the Klondike bar was invented here. The newer wave is where Pittsburgh has genuinely arrived, with chef-driven restaurants that have pulled national attention over the last decade. Lawrenceville is the epicenter of that movement, a former working-class strip now lined with new American kitchens, cocktail bars, and bakeries. The Strip District remains the best place to graze, mixing Italian delis, Asian grocers, and counter spots into a single, walkable half-mile. Beyond those, Bloomfield holds the Old Little Italy, Squirrel Hill offers strong Asian and Jewish delis, and the South Side leans casual and late. Breakfast near the hotel zones is easy, with solid independent cafes and diners across downtown, the Strip, and Lawrenceville within a short walk. The independent coffee scene is surprisingly strong, and a good espresso drink runs about $5 in most neighborhood cafes. On price, Pittsburgh is a bargain by big city standards, with a casual meal or a loaded sandwich running around $10 to $15. A sit-down dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant with entrees and a drink each typically lands near $60 to $80. At the upscale end, expect $120 or more for two before you add a full wine pairing. Craft beer is a serious local pursuit, and the city pours everything from historic Iron City lager to a deep bench of new microbreweries. Vegetarian and vegan options have grown quickly, especially in Lawrenceville and the East End, though the classic dishes remain proudly meat-heavy. One honest limitation is late-night dining. Outside the Southside bar strip, the city tends to wind down earlier than larger metros. Most of the best eating sits outside downtown, so plan on a short ride or a 10 to 15-minute walk to reach the food neighborhoods. For the quality on offer, Pittsburgh is one of the better value food cities in the Northeast, punching well above its price point. Pittsburgh is one of the more affordable major cities in the Northeast, and your daily spend depends mostly on where you sleep and eat. On a budget, plan for around $75 a day per person once you are past the flight and the hotel. That covers a hostel bed or a shared budget rental, cheap eats from the Strip District, free parks and overlooks, and transit day passes. A moderate day runs closer to $130 per person, which buys a real feel for the city without watching every dollar. Figure a mid-range hotel split between two, a sit-down dinner, one or two museum admissions, and a mix of transit and rideshare. A comfortable day sits around $200 per person, and more if you are eating at the top restaurants every night. That level covers an upscale room, nicer dinners with drinks, several paid attractions or a ball game, and rideshare or a rental car to move around. Accommodation is the biggest lever, with budget rooms near $100, mid-range hotels averaging about $140, and upscale around $200. Food is where Pittsburgh feels cheap, with casual meals at $8 to $12 and even a good dinner rarely stinging the way it would on the coasts. A local beer is about $6 and a neighborhood coffee about $5, both a notch below big city prices. Transport is nearly a rounding error if you use transit, with day passes at $7, though a rental car adds around $45 a day. Most attractions are gentle on the wallet too, with museum admissions generally in the $15 to $25 range. And a surprising amount is free, from the riverfront trails and hilltop overlooks to Point State Park and several quirky small museums. Overall, Pittsburgh lands well below the big coastal metros on nearly every line item, which is a large part of its appeal. Prices drift over time, so treat these as planning ranges rather than exact figures, especially for hotels during a big game or convention. To put that in perspective, a typical day in Pittsburgh runs about $130 versus about $130 in Great Smoky Mountains and $125 in Asheville, right in the middle for the area. Pittsburgh has 4 real seasons, and the gap between its best and worst weather is wide, so timing genuinely matters here. The sweet spot is late spring and early fall, roughly May through June, and again across September and October. In May and June, daytime highs sit around 20 to 28 degrees Celsius, or the upper 60s to low 80s Fahrenheit, with long and mostly pleasant days. Early fall is arguably the finest stretch, with September highs near 25 degrees Celsius, about 77 Fahrenheit, and the hills starting to turn in October. October brings genuine foliage across the city's ridges and river valleys, and the crowds stay light outside of football weekends. Summer is warm and humid rather than scorching, with July highs around 30 degrees Celsius, roughly the mid-80s Fahrenheit. The trade-off in summer is frequent afternoon thunderstorms and sticky humidity, though the long evenings and full events calendar make up for it. Summer is also festival season, anchored by the Three Rivers Arts Festival in June and the quirky Picklesburg Food Festival later in the season. Winter is the hard season, with highs hovering near freezing, around 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, or the low 30s to low 40s Fahrenheit. More than the cold, it is the gray that wears on people, since Pittsburgh is among the cloudiest cities in the country from November through March. That said, winter is when hotel rates dip and hockey season fills the downtown arena, so it is far from a dead time to visit. The holiday season has its own charm, with Light Up Night and an outdoor market bringing downtown to life across late November and December. Peak visitation tracks the warm months and the sports calendar, so summer weekends and any big Steelers or Pirates game push hotel prices up. The shoulder windows in late spring and early fall give you the best balance, with strong weather, lighter crowds, and more reasonable rooms. If you can only pick one window, aim for the second half of September when the weather is mild, the leaves are turning, and baseball is still on. A few practical details round out the picture and answer the questions most travelers have before they book Pittsburgh. Payment is simple. This is the United States, so everything runs on US dollars, and cards and mobile pay are accepted nearly everywhere. Tipping is expected and matters here, so plan on 18 to 20% at sit-down restaurants, $1 or $2 per drink at bars, and similar for ride shares. International visitors need either a visa or an approved travel authorization to enter the United States, so sort that out well before you fly. Power is standard North American, using flat 2-prong plugs at 120 volts, so bring an adapter if you are coming from abroad. Connectivity is excellent, with fast and reliable coverage across the city and easy eSIM support if you want a local data plan. Tap water is safe to drink, and the city has plenty of pharmacies and well-regarded hospitals if you need anything while traveling. On safety, Pittsburgh rates as a fairly typical mid-sized American city, safe in the areas visitors frequent, but not without rougher pockets. Downtown, Oakland, the North Shore, and the East End neighborhoods are comfortable day and night, while some outlying areas are better avoided after dark. Petty crime like car break-ins is the main thing to watch, so do not leave anything visible in a parked car. Nightlife concentrates on the South Side's East Carson Street and in Lawrenceville, ranging from old dive bars to polished cocktail rooms. The art scene outpunches the city's size, with a resident symphony, ballet, and opera, and a downtown cultural district full of restored theaters. The city is generally welcoming to LGBTQ travelers, with an active pride community centered on Shadyside and the South Side. Shopping leans local rather than flashy, with independent boutiques in Shadyside and Lawrenceville and the sprawling markets of the Strip District. One only in Pittsburgh detail is the local dialect, Pittsburghese, where you all becomes yins, which is exactly why locals are called yinsers. Socially, Pittsburghers are friendly and informal, quick to chat with strangers, and they take their sports loyalties more seriously than almost anything else. As for packing, Pittsburgh's hills and changeable weather shape what you should bring more than the season alone. Clothing is all about layers, since a single day can swing from a cool morning to a warm afternoon across most of the year. Pack breathable base layers, a medium weight jacket, a waterproof shell for the frequent rain, and warmer layers if you come between November and March. Footwear matters more here than in a flatter city because you will climb hills, public staircases, and the occasional cobblestone block. Bring sturdy, broken-in walking shoes with good grip and add waterproof boots in winter when the sidewalks turn to slush. Beyond clothes, a few small items make a Pittsburgh trip noticeably easier. Carry a day pack for the museums, a refillable water bottle for the trails, a portable charger for long sightseeing days, and a compact umbrella. In summer, add sunscreen and a hat for the riverfront and the ballpark, since the afternoon sun on an open stadium is stronger than it looks. So where does that leave Pittsburgh? It is a mid-sized city with big city culture, an easy pace, and prices that stay refreshingly reasonable. It is best for museum and culture lovers who get world-class collections and a real theater district for a fraction of coastal prices. It suits sports fans especially well, since few cities pack 3 major teams and a beautiful ballpark into such a walkable core. And it rewards food-focused travelers willing to look past the classics, with a strong and fast-improving restaurant scene at gentle prices. Families do well here too, between the Science Center, the aviary, the parks, and a ball game that will not empty the wallet. It is a weaker pick for travelers chasing warm weather or reliable sunshine, since the winters are long and the skies stay gray. It also underwhelms anyone looking for glamour or a marquee nightlife scene, because Pittsburgh's charm is understated rather than flashy. The value verdict is clear. For the depth of culture, food, and sport on offer, few American cities give you this much for the money. Come for a long weekend, base yourself downtown or in Oakland, and aim for that late September window if your schedule allows. That's our guide to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Everything mentioned is linked in the description below. If you are planning another trip, we have more guides waiting for you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.